We're going to build the kitchen wall, the extra wall we need to install the entire kitchen. My father is going to continue with the electrical installation, the light installation for the bathroom, and my mother and I are going to do a few finishing touches in the bathroom. Measure all the panels to install the niche and set up the shower tray. We already have the structure of the wall, now we just need the studs.
This is what we're going to add from the kitchen wall to the new shape of the kitchen. We've already installed the channels and the studs. Now we just need to screw it in, and this will be the new part of the kitchen. It will go from here to here.
And that way it will be smoother. We apply it very lightly like this and spread the mortar evenly. Note the difference in this section. And this one here. So here there will be a little gap for the entrance, and the idea
is to hang something for clothes, right? Or something like that.
Yes, exactly, for a coat rack and so on. There's a big problem here that's going to change everything. The idea was to put a plate here. Exactly, it doesn't have enough stability in case someone leans on it or anything like that. Or if you hit it or anything like that, it's just too exposed since we can't put the structure in place. Bad things. First, the time we're going to lose doing it. And second, there's going to be a box visible at the top. I mean, up here you'll see a box sticking out. Because we need to move the wall a little forward. So we're going to stop everything we've been doing so far and start working on that. Where will the little drawer be visible? It will be here, but what's seen isn't really worthwhile.
It was necessary.
So much suffering, it doesn't seem worth it, but now we have it. Honestly, it was really quick.
Man, the whole team is on this, of course.
I made a big deal out of it, but it was actually easy.
And now we're going to build the structure for the niche inside the shower. Who wants to spend a Saturday renovating? Raise your hand, me.
It's time to install the shower tray. So we're going to use flexible tile adhesive. We'll make a little bit and stick it on. This way there's...
You have to put a layer underneath, another layer on top, and stick it on as if it were a tile.
The cables you see here are just guides. They don't have any electricity. They're guides for when we install the electrical system here in the shower. I mean for the LED strip. And we've already put up one of the walls, and now we're continuing with the other two. Some finishing touches are still needed here, but you can see the progress. Thank you.
Well, this bathroom is already done now. What's going to happen with the shower? Well, I already have the structure of the niche finished.
To make it look aesthetically pleasing, we think the ideal would be for that height over there to match this one here. So more or less, we're going to follow the same line, so we're going to leave this little piece free and that little piece over there free. Algo Plus Express is a mortar that sticks to any surface. We put it on and then we could put another coating on top of it. Well, that's done. Now we just have to wait for it to dry, and tomorrow we'll start with the Microcement. The first thing we need to do is prepare the surface. Sand it, clean it, and today what we're going to do is apply the primer. We're going to use Smart Primer Grip, which is a primer for non-absorbent surfaces. And with the roller, we'll apply it to the wall, and you need to let it dry for between 2 and 4 hours. In our case, we're going to apply it with the roller. But since there are areas that are harder to reach, I'm going to use this little brush so I can get to all the spots easily. We'll apply Microcement from here to there across the rest of the bathroom while this area will have tiles. That's why we're not going to apply anything to it. Well, it's been almost 3 hours now, and what we're going to do next is protect the floor and the ceiling. Now we move on to applying the Microcement. The color I've chosen is mocha, and we're going to apply a thin coat. You just open it and apply it directly, which makes it much faster and more convenient. The other big advantage I see is that we can apply it over existing materials, as long as they're in good condition, of course. Well, today's a new weekend. The Microcement, the first coat we applied, has already dried completely, and today we have to sand it. We're going to sand it with a 40 grit sandpaper. We're going to leave it really smooth, and then we'll apply the second coat. For the corners, what I'm doing is folding the sandpaper and placing it like this. It turned out really well with the sanding we did, right?
Yes, it turned out very well.
This is just the first coat. We still need a second base and 2 smooth coats. The material is much tougher than I expected. Imagine it's like a 40 grit sandpaper, which is super tough and really abrasive. It ends up being very resistant. Yes, the walls turned out strong. Once we've sanded it, it's super important to clean it really well, since nothing can be left behind before applying the second coat. So no dust at all. Well, the tiles have just arrived, and look, how does it look with the Microcement? I love it. I really like the combination. And now we have the second coat of Microcement completely applied. It turned out really well. This coat was much faster, and in fact, if you look closely, there are hardly any bumps left. Although later we'll give it a little sanding. And now we're going to start with the third coat. We're going to apply 2 coats of Smart Smooth, and we're going to do it with a rubber trowel. We use the rubber trowel because we don't want to create too much of a burnished effect. But if we wanted a more burnished look, we could use the metal trowel and get a different effect. Well, this is already dried, so we're going to apply the second coat, but not before sanding it first. To sand this third coat, we're going to use a finer sandpaper, which in this case is this one here, 220 grit. It's been 4 hours since we applied the last coat of Smart Liso. So let's move on to the last step, which is to apply the Smart Varnish, which serves as protection for the microcement. The application is very simple. It's done with a roller and will apply 3 coats in the same day. Before applying the second coat, as I mentioned earlier, you need to sand it with a 400 grit sandpaper, and then we can move on to applying the varnish. Yesterday we finished a little late, so today we're going to apply the last coat of varnish, but not before sanding it a little bit. This wall will be finished with microcement, this one with tiles, and that one also with microcement. Since I don't have the tiles for this part yet, we'll do it later, before placing the tiles here in the kitchen. We need to take down this big structure, because if we don't remove it and it falls, it could damage the tiles. Since we don't want it, we're going to take it out. On the other hand, I have the tile that's going to go here. This one will be next to the microcement. I've already explained this, but anyway, we're putting water plas on it first, basically to level the surface a little bit. Some areas stick out slightly, such as the putty or screws. Until the ceiling looks nice, the one above, oh my goodness. They've arrived. The drywall plagues are huge. Finally, I decided to tile the entire wall and not just the visible part. Many of you are probably wondering why I don't just do that part. And the thing is, I asked and they told me it was better to do it from top to bottom because first, aesthetically, it just looks better. Second, because if there's any leakage, it won't seep through here and so on. And third, because from this side and from where Ivan is, it would have been visible. Oh, ha ha ha, because there were tiles over here and over here there weren't any tiles anymore. That is, we would have had to look for moldings and things to cover it up. And in the end I said, well, let's just put it all in for all these reasons and that's it. Anyway, now we have to fix that because what a mess over there. Well, Mom, let's get to it, just us.
Come on, let's go.
For laying the tiles, we're going to use this flexible multi-flex mortar from Bessier. This is the tile we're going to use for the floor. It's 60 by 60 and it's from Bauhaus. I already mentioned to you that it has a kind of grainy texture. I mean, it's completely smooth, but it has a small pattern that I personally love. It's a shade that's kind of beige, gray, light. I'm not really sure how to define it exactly. And the shower area is already done with microcement. We already have one of the walls and the other wall finished. With the first coat, now it just needs the second one. These little pieces, as I mentioned, are placed and then by applying pressure, they level the tiles. So it's much easier to install since the tiles, whether they're on the walls or the floor, end up like this. And then, if you look at them from the side, they're completely level. You just do like this, like this, like this, up, down, then you do this snap, and then you split it in half, or just a piece, whatever we need. Let's check how it looks with indirect lighting, which is the one that reveals all the flaws.
Yes.
They look great, music. It looks super pretty because you can see the little gaps in the tile, I mean all the texture it has, and when it's finished and installed, it's going to look amazing. We don't have the furniture, we're laying the tiles and basically have to make the cuts to install the outlets. In this case, the microwave has to go here. So, using a blueprint we need to measure, assuming the floor is the thickness we're estimating, which is about 2 or 3 centimeters. And then, from there, we set the heights for each of the things, or rather, for each of the elements. In this case, it's to plug in the microwave. It's complicated because since you don't have it here, you can't set it up and check it. So, I don't know to what extent we're doing the right thing by laying the tiles without having the furniture, but since we have to keep moving forward, well, that's how it is. So the ceiling corner comes out well for us. A quick and easy trick would be to run the little spatula like this, making the perfect miter. This is likely the most complex part of using the trowel. This is the last of all the tiles that have already been installed. And the top row won't be installed because the ceiling will be lowered by a few centimeters.
If you want to see more renovations before installing the last one, check the channel Decorar tu Casa Vlogs. We're making steady progress with ongoing renovations. We'll be waiting for you there.
Here it's going to go from end to end across the whole kitchen because right now it's kind of in the middle. But look how beautiful it looks. Oh yes, look, this is how it was and this is how you're going to see it now. And we're going to place a floor tile next to it so you can see, and here we already have the tile in place. Look how beautiful it looks. The tile matches the color of the furniture very well. Last week we applied 2 coats of the base and today we have to start applying the smooth finish.
So let's get to work.
Let's sand it first. After having used the rubber shovel and on the other hand the metal shovel, we prefer the effect created by the metal shovel, so we're going to smooth everything out with the metal shovel. It's time to remove all these little pieces. These little pieces here. We're going to be able to reuse this white one. We take this one out from here and we can use this one again. And we would only have to buy the other pieces, and that way we save material. I have the samples for the bathroom, for the furniture, for the bathroom. Shanam, these here were sent to me by Creabat, since they are the ones making the sink for me. It's going to be incredibly beautiful, I have to say. This is going to be the countertop, I'll show you better. This is going to be the countertop, which is like a veined grey. Then let's move on to the front of the furniture, which would be this one here. Let's say this will go on top of this one here. And in contrast, this color, which is like a kind of anthracite grey, well, it actually has a specific name, soft anthracite. And this one is going to go in a niche inside the furniture, and also the sink, let's say, where we wash our hands, is going to be this color. This is the handle, which is the same color as the sink and the niche. And it matches with the wood and with the stone tone of the countertop. I like to clean the tiles before I start applying the grout, even though it's kind of silly because they're going to get dirty anyway. It helps you see where the mortar clumps are clearly. So I go over it and then I also wipe it with a Even what's that called? The sponge? Ah, with a scouring pad, we scrub it with a scouring pad, and that way we also know which stains come off and which don't. You have to add water until it gets the texture we need. It can be used in many ways, but honestly, after trying several, the best way is with this type of trowel. For me, this texture is enough because it's solid enough to hold and liquid enough to get nicely into the little holes. Well, this has already dried, so I'm going to remove it and I'm going to take it off with this little sponge. And now, since we have it completely clean, we have to wait for it to dry, because it will probably turn a bit whitish afterwards, so, well, when it has dried, we'll give it a final cleaning. One of the things we're going to do, as it couldn't be any other way, is to orient the vate.
It would have been a seal that would have stayed hidden here, but then you wouldn't have been able to put the bidet sprayer inside as well.
Of course.
This way, you come out here and use the bidet sprayer, then you go back inside here and aim.
The toilet, I chose the narrowest one there was, so that it wouldn't get in the way. There's more space here now, so you can get through easily.
This already has rubber seals, so odors can't escape. But anyway, just in case we add this, we put more polyurethane foam, and then this fits in here, fits right inside here.
Wow, that was fast, right? One thing is already done.
With this flex, we got what we wanted. Now we just need to move it forward a bit. Because to make up for the thickness of these little pieces we had here, and a little bit over there to separate ourselves from the mold, now we can start with the floor.
Wow, I'm going to level this whole area since it's uneven and we need to level it to lay the tiles. Once it's leveled and before we lay these tiles, we'll change that door, which should arrive today. I want to start the floor from here, to guide it toward the bathroom and then bring it over here, to the kitchen, which is what I'd like to do this weekend. I would lay all the kitchen and bathroom floor tiles up to the bathroom, to get an idea of where they're going to end up. I don't know if I told you, but I prefer to leave that there. It's going to be 1.5 tiles instead of having to cut all of them here until the end because they would all end up being cut.
Yeah. For the floor, it would be better to split it, not all of them. Well, it would be better to split this piece so that it's half and half.
Of course, but then this one would be split in half and you would see it. When you walk in, there would be a line here instead of centered, and it would look terrible.
So here we would put a whole one.
Exactly.
And in the end, there will be a piece of 43 centimeters left.
It's about half 43.
43, okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Start with those and do this here.
Exactly.
And then over there.
Sure, the thing is we don't have a saw, so we're considering doing it by hand, at least partially. This is going to be the first tile. If you notice, the door is already cut and we can already open and close it.
Open, close.
We're going to apply the Smart Vanish to the shower area since we hadn't done it before. The tile I'm going to use for the floor is this one here. It's 60 by 60, it's from Bauhaus, and it's a rectified floor tile. These two are the most important as they'll essentially determine the house's entire layout. Ideally, you should use a sponge to make sure it's really clean, and also because the sponge gets perfectly into the joint, so it turns out much better. Then, when we have to clean it, The cutter would be this one here, super big, because that way it allows us to cut tiles up to 80 centimeters, or tiles in this case, which are 60. But sideways, so can we make more complicated cuts like this? Okay, perfect. And now we would have it cut. Before we continue with the bathroom, let's clean everything super well. We're checking with the laser to see if it's completely straight. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera.
The leveler lights up red.
Here it's red and
All three levelers are on.
it's completely aligned. She has to fix this part here, which is quite uneven, and that part over there, including the beam. Only a little left, right?
Well, this is finished now, huh? The final touch, what do you think? How does it look?
Very good for the first coat, yes.
Let's see how the second goes.
The beam is also covered with the first coat. The little piece of roof and this row we've seen, and that's it, and for today, we're done. Shana? This is turning out like this. Here we have the shower tray. We've already measured what we need. We're going to cut it to about 10.5 or almost. Or I would almost say it's 11. Yes, 11.
It's super important to get the slope of the shower tiles right because water can be really troublesome. If you mess up any step, then what can happen? The water can get stuck in one spot, and that's a problem, right? The slope has to be right so the water flows normally and everything goes down the drain. We're making the first cuts so we can place them visibly. First to see how they'll look, and since the slope has to start from here going down, we can't start it from here because later the shower screen will go here, so we're making these small accessory pieces to extend this tile here. From here to there, the slopes toward the drain have started to appear. Even though I usually create the slope in the shower base, this one already has it built in toward the drain. Now comes the hard part.
The idea is to put a tile like this 3 times, let's say, and mark here towards the drain, and then make the necessary cuts so that the slope is correct. Let's say the water flows this way and then goes to the drain. This is how it's turning out. If you look here, we need to lower this a little bit and cut that one over there too. And we already have these lines. Now we just need, let's say, the ones that go transversely toward the drain. How is this looking?
Well, this is almost finished. We'll be showering in no time.
And now we're going to start cutting with the grinder, because with the grinder we'll follow these lines that you can see. It's a very precise job, you know? Okay, now everything is set up. Now what's left is to install it, let's say to apply the mortar. And what I'm going to do is start from there to here, from there to here, and from there to here.
And now it's time to apply the mortar to start placing the pieces.
A super thin layer, although it's true that this part here needs to be flatter than the back. That's why the shape will be determined by the tile, which is already cut.
We've placed the first row to use as a guide and prevent spills into the shower tray. Now that the first row is done, we'll complete the whole shower tray at once. We almost have one of the sides of the shower done. As it progresses, you feel more and more like taking a shower.
Honestly, I'm really looking forward to showering like this.
Christina is eager to finish the shower with the last piece. Well, we still have a few left back there, but let's say this is the last one for the shower tray. And on one side, we already have the whole shower tray finished. As I was saying, it turned out to be an architectural masterpiece in terms of design and renovations.
There are a few little mistakes, but we're already very tired and we're going to leave it like that.
There must be a small mistake, but it looks great for someone who's never made such a dish before. I'm happy with the result we've gotten. So by placing this one, the floor will be fully tiled, though the bathroom might not be completely finished. And now, that's it. Crucial moment. Epic music.
It's done.
Last bathroom tile placed.
Now we would have everything completely done. Here you can see this line, this little row, but it's okay because the shower screen will go here and therefore the second line will be covered by the shower screen. It won't be visible.
A historic moment on the channel because we're going to present the future. Sink, the new sink and toilet. Well, the toilet is done. What a mess with sinks and toilets. The water closet.
These pieces come off like this. Let's test the toilet to make sure there's no water leaking from the tank, and that way we can be sure it's working properly.
Let's see if it doesn't...
If they've separated it or what? Nothing from the wall?
I could stick it, but the whole tank would end up lying down.
Pull it back a little.
If I have a lot left to do like this, I put it in there.
Like this, yes, like this, better. Let's move to the next row since you can see the door. Let's go. If I hadn't recorded it, we couldn't change it because basically it didn't arrive. I bought it a while ago, scheduled delivery, but it still hasn't arrived. So we're going to continue along this row and we'll leave that little piece for when we change the door. Same, we'll leave this one so we don't have to make more mortar. For different measurements,
You place it, loosen it, and adjust it so it stays at about the right measurement. So you can play music, the decorative cover.
these would be the progress updates for this weekend. Honestly, we are super happy. Well, the weekend hasn't been very long.
For 4 days.
4 days, but well, we've laid a lot more flooring than expected and planned, and the bathroom is almost finished. They said they'll bring the whole kitchen in half an hour. It's actually prettier. I mean, it looks cool on camera, but in person you can really see it, honestly, right? I mean, incredible. I'm just in love with it. And over here I have the countertop too. So this is how the whole dining room looks right now. Today they're also bringing us the door that I told you a while ago we needed to change. The one that leads to the laundry room. That's great because we'll change this door, fix the ceiling, and then finally install the kitchen. This will be the one that goes here. Well, this isn't the countertop itself, let's say, but it's the same color as the countertop over there. This will be the color of the countertop and the upper cabinets. Look at how the combination of this color, which is the sand color, looks together with the countertop. Take a look now, you couldn't see anything before. I really like it because it looks super cool.
I'm excited to see it all set up.
Well, now we've left everything piled up here and in one room too, but we've made sure to leave enough space to walk through and everything. And in this area, now we can work with the door, that one over there.
This should have glass on one side and wood on the other.
We'll remove the baseboards because we can probably start this week while we're here to lay the floor in the rooms. Alright, door out. All of this is already completely dry, so now we can take out the little pieces and leave it nice and clean. Let's install the little faucet, also known as the bum washer, which is what would replace the bidet, and basically this is placed right here. At the water outlet, it can be connected directly to the toilet, or there can be this one that has a double outlet, one for the toilet and the other for the little faucet. And basically, it allows you to save space because you don't need a bidet, and it's very comfortable. What I wanted was like this. I don't know if they're all like that, but so you could turn it on from here. That way you can make it stronger or weaker. To turn it on, we have the water flow here, as I mentioned, and this controls the pressure of the small water tap. Here we already have the door that will be installed in that opening over there, which is why we made this mark for it. The truth is it was pricier if the glass was frosted. But with some sprays they sell nowadays, it doesn't have to be, you just use the spray and that's it. Cool or not, Dad?
Very cool, and it weighs less than we thought.
Very good, great. Now, even for mopping the floor, it works really well. I use this to fill the mop bucket. The good thing is that if there's a water leak, well, of course it's less likely to happen. Without the controller, a water leak would cause water to gush out and soak everything. With the controller, that's less likely. I'm gonna show Mari all the progress, like this, see?
Wow, oh my gosh, how cool. Oh my gosh, when this is finished, let's see. Oh, what a change. You guys did this. The drawing even looks nice, right? It looks symmetrical.
They're to attach them to the wall. Let's say this gets embedded in the wall, and that way the door is more secure. Plus, you still need to add the foam and mortar, but this already holds much more securely. Otherwise, you would have to screw it in, I guess, right?
Yes, this way the screws aren't visible.
The previous door already had it, and it's this right here that we've basically cut, but usually large doors like this tend to have this system.
It's called a fixing claw. The largest one needs claws, and size matters.
The fixing claws. They would go here, and then, well, now we have to chip away that little piece. Well, that one over there, then there's another one up top, and so on. All the ones that need to be chipped away. And now, well, it would be completely installed. But we're not going to put the door in yet, basically because it's not completely dry. So tomorrow what we'll do is cut off all the excess around here with the cutter. If the door got a little dirty because it swelled up a bit and here, for example, it spread a little, we'll clean it with acetone and it will be nice and clean. And well, tomorrow I think we'll be able to install the door so the little door will finally be in place. I haven't mentioned this, but there was a lot of debate about the door's direction, and the previous door opened the same way as this one. But washing the dishes was a bit annoying. In this case, now they're cabinets, so when we open it, it'll only bother us if we're going to get something from those specific cabinets. But it was very different from having the sink or dishwashing area. Its placement was inconvenient, especially when washing dishes. And if someone had to go out to the laundry room, there would be a clash, so it was pretty uncomfortable. Now it's not so bothersome because the sink is in another place. However, what I would have liked is for it to open outward, but that was impossible, basically because it would have ended up completely straight. Well, actually it wasn't even possible because with the way it's built, it was already set up to open inward. So basically it was impossible. We could only leave it like this, or instead of opening that way, have it open to the other side. But it would have hit the niche that's being made on this side. Therefore, out of the two options we had, we thought the best one was for it to open towards the furniture. We can't do anything. This door is tilt and turn, so we can also open it like this and let the breeze in to ventilate. And well, not much else. It can only be open to that side. I don't think it's going to be too much of a bother, mainly because we only have a small piece of furniture there, but we'll see, and for today I think we'll leave it here. We'll finish picking up a few things, have a snack since we're a bit hungry, then get energized to look at stores. Tomorrow we'll continue. Actually, I think it's exactly 6:30 in the afternoon, so it's a good time for a snack. And we'll wait for Ivan to arrive too, since he's coming these days, so that's it. We'll see each other tomorrow. Good morning. This morning we're starting the activity by installing the door. Today we're not going to waste a single minute. Now that's it. It looks cool, huh?
Well, everything's ready now.
It looks cool, huh? For ventilation in the tilt and turn part, I like it for that reason. Because it ventilates, it leaves this little gap for air to come in. What I'm going to do first is smooth out this whole wall, and then I'll continue with the plasterboard finishes so they'll look more perfect, right? We built this wall to look medieval, but it needed better smoothing. And well, anyway, it can't stay like this, so we're going to leave it as good as possible, and then we'll move on to the plasterboard. We're going to lower this part without tiles, and it will be covered by the ceiling. The furniture will go from there down. The furniture will reach, let's say, up to here because they're 90. And from here up, the furniture will go, and from here down, the other furniture will go. The ones that are, let's say, the countertop. And then these two tiles will be visible, and here we'll put the LED lighting, in theory, and now we're going to start putting up the ceiling. Let's go. I've finished this side, now I just need this last part. First, we tried to smooth it out, but it didn't go well or turn out level, so that's why. Look, plasterboard and done. This is looking really good, and the thing is, we won't close it until we go through. The hood duct will be over there. It'll go across the whole ceiling and come all the way here. Where it looks like a t-shirt is hanging, but it's actually a cloth. That's where the duct needs to go. And I'm going to clean that now before I forget, because later we won't remember. By locating the hood, we'll have a big advantage, because that way we'll know the size of the duct we need to install. We buy the duct, install it, and then we can close the ceiling. Oh, bingo, here's the hood. And here it is. The diameter is 12 centimeters, so that's it. We'll find the 12 centimeter tube, then place this here and run the extraction tube through. It's simple, minimalist, compact and barely noticeable. Because the hood, well, it's not exactly ugly, but it's true that I prefer it to be as hidden as possible, and this way it stays nicely concealed. And here I am, there's no hood. So there's been a change of plans regarding the niche since we've been talking about it. And at first the drawers were going to be built in, but it's true that you lose a lot of space that way. And a lot of the comments said, I think what we're going to do is this, which I have here on my phone. Something like that. More like a shelf which will be built in on the sides, meaning all of that will be made of plasterboard, and in the middle there will be these shelves. So I can put things there to be able to make the two walls I would need. And from here this goes up, so it's going to be covered. Today we're going to focus on the kitchen ceiling. The structure is already set up as you saw in previous episodes. And today we're going to put up all the drywall, and if we can do the finishing touches, even better. My aunt and my mom are going to give the bathroom its final coat. We still need to varnish the shower interior.
Outlets, microwave outlets. Below there will be the outlets for the oven and the microwave, the switch for the indirect lighting, both for the furniture and the niche.
The idea is when you arrive from home,
you come in from home and you turn it on from this side here, from this side here. There will be a switch to turn on the perimeter lights or to turn on the dining room.
They are very strange shapes, very difficult to place and to fit in well, and everything is very complicated. So you have to take the measurements very carefully, and this is where you find out if you did it right or not. What else is there?
I have to leave a niche because this plate doesn't stick out.
Wow, the body of the niche.
I would have done the roof first, then that one.
In the meantime, I'm going to continue with the niche, which, if you notice, isn't even glued yet. We'll put polyurethane putty all around the perimeter, place it and screw it in with the washer. Okay. All of this is to seal it so that water doesn't leak through. Even though tiles will go on top later, it's always good to make sure. Now we're going to put this fiberglass mesh on it. It's amazing how easy it is to work with this Listaluso putty. The great thing is that when it dries, there are hardly any little pieces sticking out, and with a light sanding, it'll be ready. Well, we're almost done with the kitchen ceiling. Actually, the kitchen ceiling is done. We still need to do the hallway ceiling from here to there, but we don't mind since the kitchen is the priority, so we can attach them. It's true a small piece is missing, but since the trim and everything else will cover it, I don't think it'll be a problem. This is how it looks so far, and well, now we have to finish the joints and everything else and then paint it. And then we could already install the upper cabinets, and after that, the lower ones. After the floor is done here, we can install the cabinets and everything else, but that probably won't happen today. And now we'll move on to the tape. Basically what we have to do is take the measurement, cut it, stick it on, and then apply a second coat of putty. If you notice, the frame has been cut to fit the door. And now this will be raised a little bit, and that way I can even it out. On this side here, it will be raised a little like this and go under the frame. And that way we don't have to make any holes in the tile, and it looks much cleaner and prettier. And then from here, the whole piece, all of this will be covered. Huh? This is for the baseboards. This is the part of the floor. Well, that little piece over there where we've placed both sides.
It looks that way with the door, but that's just how it is.
But it looks really good. And then over here we've added this extra piece and we've left half of it to do tomorrow. The ceiling is also all done with the putty and everything else applied. And well, it still needs another coat, right? Yes, it needs a second coat and then painting. We got a bit carried away and put the plasterboard down to the floor in some spots. Not here now, since I've already cut it. And so my aunt is giving me a hand, and now she's cutting this piece so the board doesn't touch the floor.
Oh my goodness, I'm leaving it, let's say, perfect.
Good morning, another day on the renovation. You're not mistaken, this is the Decorate Your House channel. What happened is that Christina had an unavoidable problem come up, so she has to go to her house. So it's just Loli and me here, doing what we can. Today's goal is to continue with the ceiling, and we'll keep working on the rest of the hallway, at least a part of it, so we can finish setting up the kitchen.
Today we're painting.